Today I'm trying something new with my sourdough. I'm going to add some oats, some flaxseed. We'll see how it goes. If you are new to my channel, my name is Leah. Welcome. As I mentioned, I'm going to use some oats, some whole wheat flour, and some flaxseed. So let's get to it. I made the leaven last night. I fed my starter and then I took out half a cup of my starter. I added half a cup of water and half a cup of flour, and I let it sit on my stove until today, and it's very foamy. It's like having yeast, but it doesn't have yeast. It's only the sourdough. So now I'm going to make my dough. I'm using 2.5 cups of warm water. I don't know if you can see the measurements exactly, but it's 2.5 cups of warm water, and I'm going to add my leaven to the water. So I'm going to mix this together, and then I'm going to add 1 cup of rolled oats. If you are thinking about doing sourdough but you haven't done it yet because you are reluctant to start, I encourage you, just get going and just do it. It might not come out quite as you plan to, but it's okay. I've been there. Do you want to know how I did first time? Let me tell you my story. Okay, so I decided to make sourdough. I've been seeing on social media all these sourdough makers, and actually that's how I learned, because I had no idea about sourdough. I used to make my bread with yeast, just the regular way, but I didn't know much about sourdough. I didn't know anything about sourdough. Well, I remember something that my mom used to make sourdough. I had a memory, but I really didn't know how to make sourdough. So anyhow, so I start making my sourdough, and I see the dough is so soft. I'm laughing about it now, but at that time it wasn't a laughable matter. Anyhow, so I keep adding flour to it. So guess what? I ended up with a dense bread. It wouldn't rise. We ate it, but it was very dense. So I learned that the dough should be raggedy. It should be, softer and sticky, and it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be non-sticky. No. So I learned by my own mistake, and that was the best thing it could have happened, because I learned right then and there. So if it doesn't come out right the first time, don't give up. Just try, and experience is going to teach you the right way. So let's get back to our sourdough making here. So I left it just until 5 minutes or so, just so the oats gets a little bit softened. So I'm going to add 1 cup of whole wheat flour, and I'm going to also add the flaxseed, 1/4 cup of flaxseed. This is gonna give it's too much. I don't want to add too much because it gives a nice nutty flavor to the bread. You don't want to add too much though. Okay, so from this I'm making two loaves. Okay, 2 loaves, not 1, 2 loaves. Okay, and here is a tip for you. If you are using flaxseed, and especially buying organic, because of the oil content in the flaxseed, if you leave it out too long, it's going to go rancid. So keep your flaxseed in the freezer. That way it's going to last for you a long time. Okay, so I'm mixing everything. I'm using this whisk to mix all together. And then I'm going to start to add my flour. So just for the sake of how much I'm adding, I added 1 cup of oats, 1 cup of whole wheat flour, so that's 2 cups, right? And I added 1/4 cup of flaxseed. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding my all-purpose flour. I'm not using bread flour, I'm using all-purpose flour, okay? So I'm adding 2 cups at a time. And just rotate the bowl and mix this in until the whisk is okay. And then I'm going to switch. You can do the rest by hand, or you can use a little scraper or paddle, whatever you want to call it, to mix in the remaining of the flour. Okay, so I'm going to switch to my paddle here. So I switch to my paddle, scraper. Oh, now I'm going to add salt, and I'm adding 2 tablespoons of Himalayan salt. It should be about 10 grams of salt per loaf, but because it's 2 loaves, I'm adding twice that amount. If you enjoy watching and find this video helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. It will really help me. I'm going to add the rest of the flour. So I have so far 4 cups and a quarter with the flax. Yeah, it's still wet, so I'm going to add a little bit more flour. So this dough is rugged, it's sticky. You see how it is? It's very rugged, it's very sticky, and that's exactly what we want. And so now I'm going to cover it and let it sit for 45 minutes, probably 30 to 45 minutes. So I forgot to mention the total amount of flour that I used. So from these 2 cups, I have still left a half a cup. So I used almost 6 cups in total with the oats and the flaxseed, basically 5 cups and 3/4 that I used in total. And then consider my leaven, which was half a cup of starter plus half a cup of flour and half a cup of water. So add that into the consideration, and we shall see how this works. If it works at all, we'll see. Stay with me and we'll see how it comes out. If you would like to see a complete tutorial how to make sourdough, check out my video. The dough has rested, and I'm going to do a set of stretch and fold. The dough has rested for 1 hour, and I'm going to do some folding, stretch and fold. So there it is. It's puffy, but it still needs some work. I'm going to stretch and fold it right here. You can see the dough is puffy. It starts to form bubbles. That's a very good sign. So now I'm going to stretch it out, and then I'm going to fold it, and then roll it up, roll it up, roll it up, and there it is. And I'm going to let it rest. The dough after resting for another hour. Oh, look at that. Turn it over. I'm going to divide it in 2, and I'm going to shape it, and I will see again how it's going to do. But I'm going to shape it, and I'm going to see it has bubbles. It's very nice. It's absolutely nice. So I'm going to shape it. So see how it's holding the shape? Okay, so I'm going to place it on parchment paper. So I placed them on parchment paper and I'm going to cover it. 1 hour later, the dough has risen and I'm going to put them in my pan. Just flip them up and put them in here. I'm going to let them rise some more until I heat up the oven. I did some scoring before I baked my 2 loaves. And look at that, they came out really nice. I'm really impressed. Good rise, good texture. So I think I'm gonna use more often adding oats and flaxseed and maybe try some seeds next time. For now, I am really impressed with this bread. It has a nice texture, a nice crumb, and this is going to be a repeat in my house. I hope you enjoyed today's sourdough bread adventure. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you on the next video. Enjoy this recipe and see you next time.